Good morning, everyone. Leah Dixon from Port Coquitlam, British Columbia here. I am live with kind of a bonus video this month. I am doing my paper pumpkin video on the weekend instead of on my regular Wednesday live, just so I have more time to be able to show you guys celebration items and really enjoy our new mini catalog with my Wednesday lives. So hopefully you're able to join me or watch the replay. And if you're here and watching the replay, let me know in the comments. I love to see who's here. So right now is an extra special time. Celebration is going on until February 28th, which means that you can actually get prepaid subscriptions to Paper Pumpkin and earn celebration rewards at the same time. So I'm going to go through and show you the January Paper Pumpkin. If there are refills or anything available past like extras of this kit available, they will be available usually starting the 21st of the month. And you can always give me a call as well if you're interested in grabbing a kit. But if you're interested in the subscription to get the next kits that are coming up, or even better, the prepaid, so you can earn celebration, you can check that out. There's a link in the description of this video, or you can just contact me directly, because the free products that we have for celebration right now are amazing. All right, so let's see what's in here. All I kind of know is that it's Valentine's. So we've got some mini glue dots, some real red ink. Oh, I should switch over to my desktop so you guys can actually see up close. There we go. So some real red ink. I'm going to grab my own real red. I think I'm going to have to go get that from a card class I've got prepped. We've got a lovely stamp set here. It says, "You have my heart, you celebrate love, love, and you're my favorite," and then a couple of hearts. So nice little stamp set. And I'm just going to move this box out of the way. And then we have got our kit itself. There is a lot of real red here. I love the striped envelopes. Ooh, beautiful. Okay, so there we go. Valentines are one of those things that I actually love getting kits for, because I don't make a ton of them. I make them for my kids, my class, and my sweetheart, and that's about it. So I love getting kits because I can usually get what I need out of a kit without, going and buying cardstock and stamps and all sorts of things to make Valentines. All right. Oh, these are fun. So we've got a few more mini glue dots in here, but we have an embellishment that I've not seen anything like it in a while. It's like a clear, sparkly heart gem. It's adhesive backed. So those are beautiful. We've got some, oh, interesting. Some dimensionals that aren't mini, but they're not regular size either. They're kind of somewhere in between. That's cool. All right. And then we've got these 3 heart pieces. So we're making 3 each of 3 designs. So the kit makes 10 or 9 cards total. And then, of course, I love to do things like cutting up the envelopes and the card bases and stuff to get more out of the kit. So we've got that lovely piece. We've got some real red, looks like linen thread here. So that's beautiful. All right, put that to the side. We have the envelopes, which are gorgeous. I love when they have the label already there and then all patterned and everything. Though I must admit, as much as I love the fancy envelopes, I usually cut them up and don't use them as envelopes. All right, then we've got a nice striped card base. What I love about these is that the inside is white. So I'm going to actually start pulling aside just one of each and see what we end up with to craft with. All right, then we've got 3 of these little heart backgrounds, and it looks like some of the hearts on there pop out. We've got some heart strips here and sentiment labels that are all like ready to pop out. So that's cool. Ooh, a marbled background on one of our cards. some sentiment labels with a gold border. I always love the gold borders. And then a whole bunch of hearts here. And another card base. Oh, this is where those pop-out heart strips are going to go. I can just tell. There's the very, very faintest little edge of a heart in rows on this card front. It's very hard to see on the screen. Sorry, guys. But it's there, and it gives you a guide. Ooh, very nice. And then like this champagne-y gold, these champagne gold accents. Oh my gosh, those are gorgeous. All right, so that is everything. Oh, everything in our kit except for the part I'm always like, okay, now what? The instructions. And of course, we have this little insert here for the stamp set. All right, so this is going to give us a sense of what stamps should we have in our kit. So I always keep these together at the end. That way you've got a good way to remember what stamps you have and should be in your packet. Now here on our instructions, it shows you all the materials you get in your kit. It also shows you that there's this like add-on die bundle. And so this is called Spring is in the Air. And these dies have like some honeybees. That's going to go with a future kit. I think that's a flower and some grass. That's a different kit. And then the heart that coordinates with this kit. So basically this little die set coordinates with the January, February, and March paper pumpkins. And you can get this if you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber. So you do have to be a Paper Pumpkin subscriber to get this add-on. You don't order it though when you're ordering your Paper Pumpkin. You just put it onto any order that you're placing as like another item, like the way you'd add dimensionals or something. All right, so that is there, and I'll probably use that if it looks like there's going to be pieces that I can use to make some bonus cards today. So that's exciting. All right, so our instructions are here. It always shows us what the main cards are meant to look like. And then inside are full instructions on how to put these cards together. All right, so I'm going to pop those off to the side in case I need them. Have a little sip of coffee here. I forgot that 9 a.m. on a weekday is one thing, but 9 a.m. on the weekend comes really soon since I'm not waking up at 5 in the morning. Okay, now I did not get a block in my kit because this is not my first Paper Pumpkin, but this is what the Paper Pumpkin blocks look like. And that is actually what I'm going to be using today because all my other blocks are tied up in boxes for a card class. So first thing we're doing is grabbing this little heart. Now in their image, they show you putting the heart right in the center of that giant block. And when you're using a Stampin' Spot, that's fine because you can kind of come in and ink it up. But if you're using regular ink pads, I find this placement is really hard to not get ink all over your block. So I actually prefer to mount mine in the top right-hand corner. So when I go to ink it up, I can just get the little corner in there. And then also when I'm stamping, I don't have a bunch of block going over top of my card. Now, sometimes I talk about how I feel like these Paper Pumpkin kits have like a film on them. In this particular instance, I can actually see the film on this. So we're going to just kind of prep our stamp before I do any stamping here. I'm going to start by coming into my chamois and giving it a little clean. And then because I know I am using real red ink on this, it's going to stain. I know it's going to, but I can try something to kind of minimize that, which is to ink it up with Versamark first. And sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. But we're going to give it a good little ink with a Versamark. And I'm not even going to stamp that off or anything. I want to leave that Versamark on there. So it's kind of acting as a barrier between my stamp and my ink. Now, like I said, I've got things packed up for a class. I just got to go grab my real red. There we go. All right. So let's get stamping. Now that you guys have seen this whole kit, I need, my first piece is this little beauty. So I'm going to start by popping out these little white hearts. I'm saving them though. We're either going to need them later on the card, or I'm going to use them on an alternative. I'm not getting rid of those. They're too cute. All right, those are off to the side. And we are going to stamp our little red heart. You know what? I'm going to give this just a quick stamp on a scrap. Just always a little cautious. Oh, wow, that turned out beautifully. Okay, lovely. So, oops. So we're going to ink that up. And the first one, they're saying put it down here below the red heart on there. And then this one, they want you to overlap it on the petal pink heart. And then finally, our last one, we're going to put here underneath the open heart. There we go. So we've just added a few little hearts on there. I'm going to keep that on that block because I'm guessing we're going to need that one a fair amount. Now, the next one that they said is we're going to do the sentiment. Now, you guys, though, I'm Canadian. Favorite has a U in it, and there says you're my favorite. I just can't. So I'm going to keep this as a card that could actually even be used as a wedding card. And I'm going to use the Celebrate Love. It's got the same size and shape to the sentiment, so it's going to fit well. It then is no longer a Valentine's card. I can use it for other things. And I don't have to go against my Canadian spelling of that sentiment. So we are looking here to grab these labels. Now they have given you 4. That means you can make 1 mistake. Or if you're lucky, make no mistakes and have an extra for making alternative cards later. So I'm actually going to put that off to the side as an alternative card. Hopefully I don't mess this up. All right. So when I stamped my sentiments, I actually stamped them vertically. This was a little brain trick I learned. If you try to stamp your sentiment horizontally, you're going to focus on the words instead of the shape and placement of the words. If you stamp them vertically, your eye focuses just on the lines and the placement. And so now I have that sentiment beautifully centered and straight on my label. Yay. All right, I'm closing my ink and putting it to the side because I am the person who drops ink pads onto finished projects. So we're going to remove that so that doesn't happen. Okay, the next thing they're saying is we need 20 inches of this beautiful twine. We're going to wrap it around this layer and make a bow. So your paper pumpkin kit actually comes with a ruler along the side here in inches. So if you don't have a ruler, you can use the edge of your paper pumpkin instructions to measure out that 20 inches. I happen to have my glass mat here that also has a ruler on it. And so that's my preferred way of measuring out that 20 inches. Now, the one thing your kit does not come with is a pair of scissors and a stamp cleaner. Stamp cleaner is no problem, just, water works. But you could always grab a Simply Chamois. But the scissors are kind of non-negotiable. You need some kind of scissors. So make sure you've got a pair at home or grab a pair of paper snips. Honestly, Stampin' Up's paper snips are my favorite scissors. Okay, so here we go. I always tie a knot before I try to tie my bow. So we've got that, and I believe, the placement of it is just below your red heart that you stamped, or below the open heart that's right there. All right, now when I do bows, I always do bunny ears. So 2 bunny ears, wrap one around the other, and then let it settle how it's happiest, and then work with it from there to get the right sizing. Okay, so there we go, a little bit more fiddling. All right, the bows are always a little bit of back and forth and fiddle, and then we trim up our ends. There we go. All right, so 20 inches was perfect. It gave me enough to work with and not too much excess to trim off afterwards. Okay, now they're saying we're going to take this layer and attach it to our card base, and we're going to use dimensional. So I'm going to use these cool new ones they just gave us. They seem a tad bit thicker than regular, but they're wider than minis, and yeah, but smaller than regulars. They're kind of cool. I like them. Now, let's see. They are showing all the way around. So the 4 corners, and then fill in all the gaps. And I always do one more in the middle because no saggy middles. Okay. Now, which card base is this going on? Okay. It's going on to our marbled card base. Now, this is where I always get a little bit of extra product out of my kit. There is no way I'm just folding this in half and having this gorgeous marble be the back of my card. So I'm going to run this over to my guillotine, and I'm going to trim it down so I end up with 2 pieces that are 4 by 5 1/4. That's going to give me a base for an extra card. So let me just do that. Sorry, I can't do this on the screen. My guillotine is giant and does not fit over there. All right. 5 1/4. 5. So I just trimmed that up a bit. So now this is 5 1/4 by 4. Now I do have to check those. That's still going to give me a border. It is. It's going to give me a really tiny border, but it gives me a border. Now, if you're limited on supplies, you could, of course, go grab just a thick white card base to pop this onto. I have all the cardstock colors though, so I'm actually going to go put this onto a Flirty Flamingo card base. I'm going to grab one of those. Flirty Flamingo. Okay. So let's see. 4 1/4. 5 1/2 for our score line. Okay. 5 1/2. 5 1/2. So there we go. So I've just gone and grabbed that Flirty Flamingo. So now I actually have the other half of that cardstock and the back of the card base and this label. So I have a bunch of stuff now for some alternative cards. All right. You also didn't have to trim up this marbled layer as much. You could have left it slightly bigger so you'd have more of the marbled edge, but I'm fine with it this way. So I'm going to glue this marbled edge onto my Flirty Flamingo base. Now, they've only given you mini glue dots in the kit. You can for sure use those. However, I am going to use liquid glue because I have it and I love it. So if you don't have extra cardstock or don't want the extra step in a kit, then don't worry about doing this. Just use your card base as is. And I'll show you what your next step would be. So you're going to take your beautiful marbled card base, and you're going to then take your piece that you put your dimensionals on the back of. We're going to pop all the backings off. There we go. Pull all of those off. And we're going to line this up so that it is centered over that marble. So I love this because it's giving us a little marble border, but it's also giving us marbled flowers on our card. Okay, now we're going to take our sentiment and just put 2 dimensionals on the back here and pop it down over top of our cord. Now, actually, that being said, I actually don't like that because I don't like putting dimensionals on the string. So I'm actually going to use 4, and I'm going to place them kind of down near the bottom and up near the top so that our cord can actually run between them. Okay. So I do modify these a little bit. I'm not great at following the instructions perfectly. All right, so then when I do this, I'm going to kind of hold back the edge of my, oops, put it on upright. Oh, that was close. Almost put my sentiment on upside down. So I'm going to kind of tuck it right up to my bow. Oh, and I covered up my whole heart. Oh, darn it. Okay, you're not supposed to do that. Let's peel that off. They do peel off quite easily. All right. I'm not going to quite line it up with my bow like that. I'm going to put it down just a little bit lower so that a bit of my heart is showing over the top of my sentiment. There we go. All right, that's a bit better. And then our bow kind of overlaps and all like that. Now we get to have some fun with all of these pop-out pieces. So there's 3 of these pop-out pieces that we need. We need one of these gorgeous hearts. Now it's too bad there's no extras of these. They give us exactly 3 in the kit. I don't need that one yet, but I'm going to pop it out and put it to the side. Oh, where did I put my paper pumpkin box? All right. There we go. And then it shows that I need... Oh, these are stickers. Oh, okay, so I'm not going to pop them out yet. But what I need is the outside of the bigger heart and the inside of the smaller heart for this. Oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. Oh, and then a whole bunch of little red hearts. Where are those? Where are the little red hearts? Oh, or maybe those are meant to be... I gotta look at the picture. Sorry, guys. Oh, those are the gems. Okay. All right, I get it now. So on the instructions, they show these like dark red hearts, but those are actually representative of the gems. All right. So this is going to get some dimensionals on the back of it. See, sometimes the instructions help, sometimes they don't. So that's going to go down right here. It's going to overlap. But before we place that one down, I want the inside of one of the lower profile hearts. Now, how do I... Oh, it's got... Oh, what? It looks like... Oh, maybe I actually want one of the itty bitty hearts. That's what I want. Okay. So I'm going to take one of the small hearts. So on here, you've actually got like 3 kinds of hearts. You've got big hearts, small hearts with a border, hearts with outlines, and then these small hearts with nothing. So it's one of the small hearts, and we're going to get that. And we're going to place it here so that it overlaps our red heart. And it's a sticker, so it just sticks down. And then I can take my pink heart and take those dimensionals off the back and pop this down. So it's really overlapping 3, 4 different hearts. Like it's overlapping this one, that one, the gold one, the red one. Like it's all over the place. And then I'm going to take the outline of this one, and it comes down and overlaps 3 of the hearts. There we go. Wow. Okay, that is gorgeous, and it's not even done yet. Now we get these beautiful little heart gems that we've got. And we use 5 of them on this card. Holy smokes. Okay. So they've got us putting 1 up here above that, and then 2 down here. And I love how they've got all the hearts staying like facing with the point of the heart down. So it's kind of like they're not lopsided and all over the place. They're very uniform that way. All right, there we go. And then we've got 2 more that are going to go down over here. 1 and 2. So you could use a take your pick tool to do this part if you have one and like using it. Might make it a bit easier for placement. All right, and that is our first card finished. So like I said, they do have the You're My Favorite as a sentiment for this card, but by putting Celebrate Love on here, this can now be used as a Valentine's Day card, or quite likely I'll use it as an anniversary or like wedding card. So just gorgeous. I love all the sparkly gold on there. And it's like that nice champagne gold. Now, if you've chosen to use a Flirty Flamingo base like I have, you might also want to grab a piece of white and put that on the inside. And you may even want to stamp some hearts in there and kind of fancy it up that way. So I'm just going to glue mine in right now, and I might decorate it later, but usually I save that kind of stuff for when I'm actually giving the card, because who I'm giving it to depends on how fancy I want it on the inside. All right, so just like that. First card done. Oh, so pretty. All right, so our second card is the one that has all those amazing white heart layers. So let's grab those hearts. So this card base, like I said, has like some like markings of where you would put things. And I'm not going to bother changing this one up. It's simply a white card base. I mean, not much I can do with that. It is what it is. So I'm not going to alter this one by cutting it like I do with my others. Now I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these heart layers. That's probably why they give us so many. How many do they give us? 6, 9, 12. Okay, they give us exactly enough. So we won't have any of these extra heart layers. That's okay. So you want to be a little bit gentle as you pop these out, but they do come pretty easily. But you don't have extras, so be aware. If you tear it, you're going to have to figure out how to put it back together and hide the tear, because you get just enough. All right, so 3, 4. So the nice thing about Paper Pumpkin as well is if you're, maybe not a fan of Valentine's Day cards, you can always skip a month as well if you've got your prepaid subscription, and you don't have to do every single month. When you do a prepaid, you're paying for 3, 6, or 12 months at a time. But then you get to choose if you skip a month. And so your 12-month subscription could end up lasting you a year and a half or something if you choose to skip a month or 2 here and there. All right, now we're also going to grab one of these little labels. And I'm also going to put one of them off to the side because we actually do get 4 of those, so that means I have a spare. So it's that little label that's just a partial banner. All right. I can put those off to the side. And actually, I'm going to pull that label out right now. All of that to the side. There we go. All right. So the first thing that they have us doing is stamping the word you on our little banner in real red. So I'm going to clean up my Celebrate Love sentiment. There we go. And I'm going to put this one back, grab my U to pop on here. There we go. And like I said before, I'm going to put it up in the top corner. And again with this one, I am going to clean it because I can actually see the film on this. And I'm going to ink it with Versamark before I put it into my red ink. Okay. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to grab my red ink. This is actually the only bit of stamping we're doing on this card, is to put the word you on here. Everything else is a pre-made piece. There we go. Beautiful. That we're just attaching. There's a lot of attaching on this card. So that's step 1. And we're going to put, they say just 1. I'm actually going to hold off and wait and see our placement before I do anything. Now, the next thing is we've got our hearts. We need to put dimensionals on the backs of these, and a lot of them. So they are recommending, of course, the first and the last of every one. And then they kind of zigzag. So they actually have shown like putting all of them out like this. So of course we're putting our dimensionals on the backs of the hearts. You can see there's like a little ridge on them. So we're going to put dimensionals on the 2 ends, but then they recommend doing kind of like a zigzag pattern down the center, I guess, just so you don't end up like, I don't know, with it all. I don't know why they do a zigzag, but they did. All right, so we've done our zigzag, and then we can just go down the edge and do all of these ones. And then down the other edge and do all of those ones. This is a really cool look to a card, and it really makes it look intricate when it's really not, because Stampin' Up! Did all the hard work. All right, so once we've got that, we're going to take our card base and we're going to put all of these on. Now, like I said, it's hard for you guys to see, but on this card base, there is just the ever slightest marking of all of the hearts. So it's actually going to not be too hard for me to line this up. Okay. There we go. So I say it's not going to be that hard, but I really hope that's truthful. There we go. So just peel, peel, peel. This has me thinking about my own die collection, though, and what kind of dies like this I've got that I could recreate something like this with. Kind of a neat idea. Although I won't have the handy markings on my page to get everything lined up perfectly. So And I love how this is creating like this beautiful shadow and really making the hearts stand out. Oh, so pretty. Okay. Last ones. Hold on. So those tiny markings on this paper made that really easy, actually. All right. Now I should grab my bone folder. If you don't have a bone folder, a spoon works. Just to make sure that that closes up nicely. So now we have these hearts. Now, oh, it's 2. Okay. I'm like, how did they get it to look like it has a border? Because we're actually using both. So 1 red, 1 marbled. And unfortunately, we have just enough of those as well. So no extras. And they're saying to use the mini glue dots that they've given you in your kit to adhere these 2 together. Oh, no, they're not. Let me read that properly. They are saying to use dimensionals to adhere these together, and then we're going to use mini glue dots to attach it to our card front. So they've got us doing 3 dimensionals to put this onto the base. And, oh, I got to stand to do that. Not the best at lining things up. And there we go. All right, and then they're saying to use mini glue dots to put this on here. Now, they show a pattern of how to put the mini glue dots on the back of this heart, but I'm actually more inclined to put the mini glue dots onto my card base. And then stick the heart on top, because I can kind of see here where these are. So I am going to use my take your pick tool to do this. And so I'm looking at this. I'm going to lift my heart up, and I can see that if I put a mini glue dot right there, that's going to be a great placement for actually holding this secure. And then I kind of put that back in place, and okay, that heart will be a great spot. And then I'm going to put this back in place. Okay, that hurt. And again, I'm going to hold it in place. And right there will be lovely. And then finally, right there will be lovely. So I've put them on my card base first. Now I'm going to peel off the stickies and place my heart down. And that's how we're going to make sure that it sticks to my card front. Whoops, I just lost a base in there. All right. Oh, goodness gracious. Now, I'm also looking at this and seeing that that space in there, I think, is big enough for a dimensional, and I know that's the middle of my card. So I'm actually going to go in there and put a dimensional there so that it helps support my card and helps attach it to my card front. And now we'll come in and place this, and that should be well attached to my card front now. All right. Yes, there we go. So just a different way of doing it than the instructions show that I think just gives me a bit more confidence that the adhesive's going where it needs to be and it's truly going to stay put. All right, now they are saying that we're going to take that gorgeous love sticker. Do be careful. As you pull this one up, you just don't want to like pull it and tear it or pull it and really have it like lose its shape. Okay, so we've got that. I am going to start with, it's sticking to me. I'm going to start with making sure that my L is mostly on the heart. Oh, don't stick yet. That my L is mostly on the heart. and that my love is coming off kind of like straight, right? So now they've got theirs fitting fully on here. How is that even possible? Mine hangs off a ton. Okay, maybe we'll peel that up and try again. Maybe there's a different placement. Oops, I am concerned. There we go. All right, so maybe I can start with my love, my OVE, get that on my card, and then twist my L to fit. No, not really. Okay, well, I'm going to go back to the original way I did this in. I'm just getting my L mostly on my card, mostly on my heart, and then putting my OVE, my OVE off to the side, and we'll worry about popping that E up. Well, this is a dilemma. This is not. Maybe it needed to go on sideways. No, it didn't. So that is something you could put it on sideways. I'm going to go with this, and I am just going to maybe put a dimensional or something underneath that E so that it doesn't get broken. So I'm not going to put a full dimensional under there. I'm just going to put a partial dimensional. So I'm just going to come along here and actually cut up a dimensional. You can do this while they still have their backing on too. That might be easier. And I'm just going to put that somewhat underneath. Oh, I lost it. Oh, it stuck to my E. Excellent. That's where I wanted it. So I'm just going to put that underneath my E so that it has some supports there. Okay, so love. And then this is where I wanted to wait and see for placement of my dimensional. So I'm just going to put my dimensional out on this end. And then on the other end, I'm actually going to use a mini glue dot to attach it. Okay, peel those backings off. And I'm going to kind of tuck this under my E as well so that it's acting as a bit of a support to my E. So my poor little E is kind of falling out of line. All right, and then the last thing for this is they say 8 inches of linen thread, and we're going to tie a bow and attach it with a mini glue dot. All right, so I like to make 2 little bunny ears and wrap them around each other. And, oops, try that again. 2 bunny ears around and through. And voila. Okay, and then we just kind of fiddle with it until it is the size and shape that we would like it. There we go. And I'm going to attach mine to my card front before I trim it up. So I'm taking my mini glue dot and putting it right to the knot of my bow. I'm going to peel off the backing. And now with that backing peeled off, I can use my take your pick tool to kind of fold it in so that all of the adhesive ends up behind the knot. There. And then I'm putting that in right here underneath the love and beside the U, right on my heart like that. And now I'll trim up my ends, just like that. There we go. And fiddle with that a bit more to get those ends to not go over my words. There we go. And that is our second card from our paper pumpkin. I absolutely love this one. It is beautiful. All right, so that love was a little bit tricky. You could put it on your heart kind of more on a diagonal, and then the whole thing would probably fit on the heart nicely. Yeah, so that is our second card. Now our third card, oh my gosh, is gorgeous. Our third card is using this piece, this extra heart piece that we're going to attach just like that. Oh my goodness, that's beautiful. And then our beautiful card base here, and our sentiment that's going to go across, and a few more of our gems. Now, I love this pattern. I cannot just use this on the back of a card. So I am going to go trim this down. Now this one I'm going to trim a little bit less than I trimmed my previous one. I'm going to trim it to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So we're just going to use the guillotine to do that. An 1/8 by 5 3/8. Now when I do this, I am making sure to get rid of the rounded corners on the card base because they do have just the slightest rounding to them. Okay. And my other piece that I'm saving, I've trimmed to 4 by 5 1/4. Now let's grab some real red. And then I have grabbed a real red card base here. And so we're going to put that on, and it just has the tiniest little border now. So that's my quick little amendment to this card, so that I will have an extra piece of basically like designer series paper to use for alternative cards. All right, so we're going to pop that on there. So that's my new base. I will put a piece of basic white on the inside so that I have somewhere to write, because real red is kind of hard to write on. There we go. Just like that. Okay, now what they are saying to do is to take this piece and attach it with dimensionals to our card front. So let's do one in the middle, all 4 corners. And so this just gets centered onto our card front. Just like that. All right, now we're going to take this beautiful champagne gold piece. We're going to flip it over and put mini glue dots on the back of it. Or actually, no, sorry, they're showing dimensionals. Oh, cool. All right, now they are showing, though, that we're going to cut some of our dimensionals in half. So we can just come right here and snip that in half. And they've got those going down in some of these smaller spaces down here. All right, and another one up here. All right, so there we go. All right, so we've got that in there, and then another few full dimensionals in some of the bigger spots that will hold them. All right, and kind of up in the middle here. And I feel like that might just need to be a half as well. I don't think I can do a full there. So I'm going to cut my dimensional in half and put 2 halves like that. There we go. So do it how you think it's going to work best. Adding those dimensionals. All right. And then this gorgeous heart gets laid over top of the red heart. Oh, so pretty. All right. Now we're going to stamp our sentiment. So we've got one of these banners. You actually have 4 of them, so you can make a mistake. And on this one, they actually do say to stamp Celebrate Love. And I am going to stick with that because, again, it makes a great Valentine's and or like anniversary, that kind of thing. All right. So I'm going to take that, get my real red ink, and we're going to stamp this. So ink up my Celebrate Love. Center that and go. Beautiful. Okay. So there is our sentiment. And now our sentiment must go on now. Yeah, our sentiment goes on with mini glue dots because it's going to lay flat. So again, instead of putting them on the back of my banner, I'm going to look at where do I want this, and I can see that these 2 hearts are going to be the perfect place to put my glue dots, and then I'll put my banner across the glue dots. Okay, so just like that. Peel the backings off of them. There we go. And then I will put my sentiment across my dots. That way I'm sure to have them land where they're going to actually have something to grab onto. All right, now with that done, we get to use a few more of our gems on this one, and they just have us popping them kind of haphazardly here over on the right hand side. So just pop one in there, and okay, come on. That one's not wanting to cooperate. One like that. And one last one. Just like that. All right, so that is our 3rd card completed. So those are the 3 designs from our paper pumpkin kit this month, the January paper pumpkin kit. So 3 beautiful designs. One of them really is a Valentine's card, but the other 2 would make great wedding or anniversary cards as well. I guess that could be an anniversary card. So that is what the kit shows us to create. I do have some extra pieces left over though, and of course the stamp set, and we haven't even used all the images in the stamp set. So we're going to see what we can create with our leftover bits. So extra from our card kit is the back of one of our card bases and the back of our other card base. So really, if you did that to all 3 cards, you would actually have 3 of each of these. And then we have 1 extra label with the gold, 1 extra banner, and 1 extra like double-ended banner. Yeah, so that's kind of the extra pieces that came in this kit. And then if we pair this up with some cardstock, I am pretty sure we're going to be able to create some awesome stuff. Now we also have our stamp set that has like a little leaf in it, the little heart outline. It says, "You have my heart, love. You're my favorite." And then, of course, the little heart we used already, "Celebrate Love," and "You." So lots of different things that we can do with this. And then we also have our heart die cut here that we can use from the it's called Spring is in the Air. Spring is in the Air add-on dies. So we've got a bunch of stuff. So let's see. Kind of have in my head a little idea. And so I actually think I want to take Normally I try and make as many extra cards as possible, but right now I kind of just have one kind of idea in my head that I'd like to give a try. And so I think we can make two of it. So I'm going to actually just take a basic white card base, and I've got this piece here. I actually feel like I want to cut it down though. Ooh, maybe that way. You know what? I'm actually going to switch this up so I'm not using that kind of card base. We're going to use a side-to-side card base. Okay, so I'm actually going to put, I'm going to trim this down so that it fits perfectly on here. So I'm just going to give that a trim at 4 1/4 so that I have a piece that's actually 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. So I'm going to have a red square here. 4 1/4. Now that leaves me with an extra little bit that I'm going to be able to use on something else later. So I am going to do this. That piece goes top to bottom, but it doesn't go fully side to side. So we're going to use that. And then I'm actually going to grab my dies here. Oh, there we go. And I am going to die cut a marbled heart using my die from the Spring is in the Air's dies. So I'm going to pop that over into my machine and run that through. Okay. And so that still leaves me with a lot of paper that I can use on something else. Oh, now that is cool. Okay, so sometimes I don't know how dies work. That is awesome. I ended up with 2 hearts out of that, a marbled heart and a heart border. That is fantastic. That's actually even better than what I had hoped was going to happen. So I'm actually going to run this die through one more time, but just with basic white so that I can get a center to my heart. That's going to be even better than what I wanted. So I do need a piece of white cardstock. And it doesn't have to be super big. I'm going to make it 3 by 3. Okay, I actually decided to cut it 3 by 3 1/4 just to give us some extra, and that was probably a good idea. So now I have the white center, and then I also have my white border for something else. All right, so I am going to put aside that die again. So that was from the Spring is in the Air add-on die set, and I am going to clean that first. Have a little sip of coffee. There we go. And I am going to be able to put those pieces together. And now we've got this little U from before. Oh, actually, I wonder. Ooh, should we do this the other way? We should do this the other way. Okay, beautiful. So we're actually going to use the pink heart with the white border. I think, maybe not. Yeah, we're going to do the pink heart with the white border, and we're going to get a little fancy. So I'm not going to worry so much about that border yet. I am going to get the love sentiment that's here. And that's going to go right on there. That's going to be perfect. Let's see, I need to clean a block. No, I'm going to be lazy. I'm not going to clean a block. I'm just going to lift that up. All right, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to do some heat embossing on this because I want to bring in that gold element again. So I'm going to use my embossing buddy on my marbled heart that I just created. I'm going to grab my Versamark and I'm going to stamp. Oh, I should get that little label back so I know where. There we go, like that. I'm going to stamp the word love onto my heart using Versamark and then gold embossing powder. So just a little bit lower. There we go. So love. And then we're going to get the gold embossing powder. Now, if you don't have gold, you could always just stamp the love in red, and it's going to coordinate perfectly with what we've got going on with the background and everything on this card anyways. Anytime I can add like a little glitter or bling to something, I love to add that. So for me, adding the gold is just beautiful. So I've got our gold stamped on there, the love. And beautiful. So now we have our love stamped onto our heart. I'm going to bring this back over here, this back over here, and then we've got our little U. And I think, should we do that in red or should we do that in gold? Yikes, that's a big decision. I actually think I might pull in a third color. I don't usually do that when I do paper pumpkin alternative cards, but I feel like this one kind of needs the Flirty Flamingo on here, so I am going to grab my Flirty Flamingo ink. You probably, if you're a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, you probably have the Flirty Flamingo in one of your kits. And so I'm going to grab the U and stamp that in Flirty Flamingo. It just needed to be a little softer than the real red was going to be for us. All right. So now that I've got those pieces done, I'm going to get a piece of my red. Well, you could use your red, or if you have, I'm always saying I don't use enough of it. I've got the 3-pack of linen threads or twines. I think they're Baker's twines. And one of them is the Flirty Flamingo. So I'm actually going to grab that and tie that around my red base. And I'm actually going to tie it twice and trim that up. There we go. Tie it twice, trim it up. I'm going to tuck that under both sides and make a knot before I tie my bow. Okay, so I've got that wrapped. Tie a bow. And just like that. There we go. Okay, go like that. All right, so I've got that how I want it in terms of size and shape. Now I have to figure out placement. So I'm just going to take my white heart and see if I center it. I need that to go over just a bit. It needs to be off to the side. It can actually be right to the very edge of the red because we have a white border on this, so it's going to have space to go anyways. It's not like we're shoving this to the edge of our card and it has nowhere to be. All right, so we're going to shove that all the way over. There we go. All right, now with that done, I'm just going to double check again that that's placed correctly. So if I put my white heart there and my love on top of that, and then my U, that's going to line up nicely with all of that. So I can do just like that. Perfect. Okay, so that's kind of the look I was going for. So that's all lined up really nicely. Now I'm going to do a little bit of a cheater trick here with these guys. Is I'm going to lay my white heart and my floaty flamingo heart upside down. And now with them upside down, I'm going to grab my dimensionals and I am going to use them as like tape almost to tape these two layers together. All right, so I'm going to do quite a few of them so that I've got it nice and firm all the way around. There we go. And then of course, at least one in the middle. So see how I've kind of taped those together? I'm going to tape the top too, just like that. All right. So now those two pieces are really like one piece together, and I can attach that to my card front just like that. So actually I'm not going to attach it to my front yet. I'm going to attach it to this piece of red first. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to come in here like that and attach our heart. And then I'm going to take this little U and tuck it into place. I'm going to put, I think, just a mini glue dot behind this one, no dimensional. It doesn't need to be popped up more than it already is. Might actually use 2 on the back of this. Oops, come back. Okay, just like that. And pop down like that. Okay, so love you with my little bow there. And then I can trim up the one end. It's just seeming a little too long to me. And then with all of that done, I can take this piece and I'm going to attach it to my card base, just like that. And then we've got a sweet little Valentine. So I'm going to use liquid glue to attach that. You can use whatever you'd like. You could even pop it up with dimensionals if you wanted. And just like that. All right. So there you have it. That is our first alternative. So I did use the 3-pack of twine, the Flirty Flamingo from that, some Flirty Flamingo ink, Versamark and metallic ink, and then of course the white cardstock. And that, you know, we could even add, I think we have enough. Let's see, if we need 8 total per card, 6, 7, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8. We do have 2 extra hearts, so let's actually add them onto our card. Where do we want them? Maybe one right there and one right there, because yeah, if we follow, I think that gives us 2 extra hearts. So just a little extra gems on there. Actually, I don't like that one all the way out there. I'm going to peel him up again and move him in. Just like that. My math might not have been right on those. You might not have extra hearts. Oh, I don't like that. You know what? We're actually just going to do 1 on here. And I'm going to move them up a bit. Yeah. So you might not actually have extra hearts now that I'm thinking about it, because maybe it's, well, no, that's right. 5 and 3 is 8. So yeah, you do have 2 extras. So I'm going to do that, and then that way you can make a few of this card. All right, so just one little heart on there. So that's our first alternative. Now, my second alternative, I do these on the fly. Like I don't even know what's in the kits before I open them. So I will try to make one though that's a little bit more with what you would have left and the red ink only. Try and do something a little bit less of like advanced stamper type thing. So I'm trying to think here. I like those, and I think I'm going to cut off a strip of this as well, and we're going to have some fun with that. All right, so let's cut that off. I think that's going to leave us with just shy of an inch, like 3/4 of an inch strip. Okay. And then a little piece off to the side as well. Just over 2, so 2 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so we've got some extra pieces here. So we're going to bring this stuff in, and I feel like if we did that and that, got those 2 pieces. I'm going to grab a card base and you can put those 2 pieces on there like that. And then maybe I'm going to grab a little bit of another piece of cardstock, I think. Or maybe we'll just use this heart. Actually, yeah, that heart's going to work really nicely. All right, so we've got this white heart here that we're going to be able to put on there. And then those 2 little bits. And then we had another sentiment. Where did it go? I've lost my whole stamp set. Oh, there it is. All right, so then we have You Have My Heart. That might fit really nicely right in the center of that white heart. Okay, so we're going to take that. We're going to put it onto a block. And, sorry, I'm going to actually put that up properly. There we go. And then we will grab our red ink. And I'm going to pop that on there. There we go. You Have My Heart. Oh, so cute. All right. And now I think what we are going to do with all of this, though, is we are going to grab another piece of cardstock. So you have my heart like that. I think we're going to put a piece of cardstock kind of across this. So a 2 by 4 1/4 piece of, what color? What color? You know what? Let's stick with white, and we're going to grab a blending brush, and I'm going to create another kind of fun little look here. So I'm going to grab a piece of 2 by 4 1/4 inch white. 2 by 4 1/4. Okay, so we've got this piece of basic white. I am going to grab a scrap paper again, and I am going to get a blending brush and my real red ink. The blending brushes are a great tool to have. They're not very expensive, and you can use them just with your inks that you already have. And we can do so many great things. Now this is leaving like a funny streak. It's like it's got like an extra wet spot or something on it. That's really weird. I don't like that. Okay, we're going to flip this over and go again. Now that I think I got that spot off. There we go. That's better. So I am just swirling real red ink on here. Now, a trick I was taught for blending brushes is the further back you hold them, the less kind of pressure you're putting on the brush, which means you may have to do a lot more application if you wanted a dark color, but you're much less likely to get weird splotches and streaks and stuff because you're not really pushing down on those brushes, on those bristles. You're just letting them do their own thing. Oh, hi, Elaine. Thanks for joining. We're just working on an alternative card right now with this kit. So there we go. I just used my blending brush to apply a really light layer of real red. So it almost looks pink. Now we're going to grab that heart outline stamp that we've got. And I'm going to put that onto a block. I'm running out of blocks here. All right, I'm going to pop that onto the other corner of this one. All right, and I am going to put this into the Versamark first, just because it does look like it also has that weird film on it. Okay, and oh yeah, no worries. So the start of this video was me showing the 3 cards that come in the kit. And now I'm just working on some alternative cards. So what I'm going to do here is I've got my hearts on a block, and I am going to do stamped off, not full strength, stamped off hearts here, kind of randomly. I'm making this a bit harder than it needs to be because I haven't bothered to remove my other heart from this block. So I am doing the heart outline kind of randomly over this card, and it is stamped off, so not full strength. Here we go. So I've done 4 of those, and then I'm going to come in with my little heart. I should actually probably clean this, sorry. Before I do that, I should clean this and remove that big heart. Oh, I just got red ink all over my hand. Man, oh man. Red ink can be really challenging. I was crafting yesterday with some friends, and I don't know how, but we managed to get red ink blotches on a lot of stuff yesterday. Luckily not on, one of the ladies was wearing a white sweater. Luckily not on her sweater. All right, I'm going to remove that heart, and we're just going to have our little heart now. So I'm going to ink that up full strength, but then I am going to stamp it off. Yeah, stamp it off. It still looks good. Okay, so ink up full strength, and then, oh, that did not go. Stamp it. Oh, what is happening? I gotta stamp straight. There we go. Stamp it off, and then when I stamp it, I am overlapping it over top of my little over top of my half stamped hearts, or not half stamped, but like the outline hearts. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay, here, just like that, and that. So it's now really about like filling the space and keeping some balance to what's going on. All right, that little guy's just going to be off on his own. And I feel like maybe one more down there. All right, I think that's going to be good because we do have a heart going over top of a lot of this. All right, so I'm going to set that off to the side and put away my ink. There we go. I'm just going to make sure my hands are clean. I don't know if you know this, but you can actually just wipe your hands on your chamois, and it will lift the ink off of your hands just the same as it does off of your stamps. Okay, so with that done, I'm going to move that very red layer away, and we're going to come on over here. Now I've got this cool little DSP that I've just created using just red ink on white paper. We're going to pop that down, and then we're going to put this over top. And, oh, come on, stay still. That over top, that over top. And then our heart over top. And oh, not a lot keeps showing. All right, maybe put that over more like that. No, I don't actually like that. We'll do it like that. Okay, well, I guess we're covering up a lot of what we stamped. Oh, well. I guess that's how it works sometimes. So we've got that little piece of DSP that we created. We've got our little heart, and we can add that in. Now, I am wondering, though, if I want a border on this heart. I think I do. And I think I'm going to do it in white, though, and blender brush it. Or I guess I could use that outline. Maybe keep it simple. You know what? Let's keep it simple. No frilly borders. So just keeping it like that. You have my heart, and I might do a full strength heart down here at the bottom. That might be too big. Let's just see. Nope, that's going to work. Okay, so we are going to do a full strength heart down at the bottom. So there's my red ink again. Oh, you are very welcome, Elaine. I hummed and hawed about sending them or not. I ended up sending some, but not all. And I don't know, it was a weird year with Christmas cards and the strike and everything. So I'm glad you're one of the people whose card got into the mail and finally arrived. I've heard from a few people that they did arrive very, very late, but I'm glad that it arrived. All right. Yeah. I'm not sure that I actually like that now that I did the big heart on the bottom, but you know what? It is what it is. It's been done. So that's how we're going to create it. So let's start putting these things together. So I'm going to take this layer that I've created here, and I am going to glue it down, just straight up glue it down to my card. I do really like that layer. I'm actually wondering, well, we'll see. We'll see. As we glue it together, we'll see what happens. All right. It's always a surprise to me as well what's going to happen with these cards. Okay, now I think we're going to glue that one down, and then we're going to glue that one kind of overlapping it. So just like that. So those are going to get attached to our card. And again, just liquid glue, like nothing fancy. All right, that one like that. And then this one we're going to pop on like that, just over top again. And voila. Okay, so we've got that. And then our heart I'm going to pop on with dimensionals, but I actually am wondering, I think I'm going to put it down a little bit lower than I had originally planned, just so we can see more of that paper we took the time to make, because it is kind of cute. And then I might put a few more hearts up here to balance out this big heavy heart that I put on there. It was just a little too big. If it had been a smaller heart, I think it would have worked. But now we have to balance it. So I'm going to grab some dimensionals for my heart. I'm going to put this down, like I said, a little bit lower, so it's kind of more overlapping the hearts that I have, and we can see more of my hearts, like that. And then I'm going to stamp 2 more hearts up top to balance that. So I think, yeah, one kind of up high and one down a little bit lower, just like that. All right. And that is my kind of more simple alternative card for this paper pumpkin. So it uses up some of the backings that we had left over. It uses the dye from the Spring is in the Air dies, and then that real red ink that we had. But you can see how the real red ink, like full strength, stamped off and blended gives us a really wide variety of colors. So that is my second alternative for you guys. This was a little bit of a longer video than I usually do, so thank you for sticking around and watching. So here are my two alternative cards for this kit. And then, of course, I should move that blending brush out of the way so I don't get red ink on things. And then the cards that came in the kit were just gorgeous as well. We've got that one, and that one that came in the kit. So it is an adorable little Valentine's Day kit. You can use it for Valentine's, for anniversaries, weddings, all sorts of things. Oh, I'm glad you're planning on doing it this afternoon. Yeah, it is freezing here as well. We don't normally get cold temperatures, and it is really, really cold. That nice Arctic air is blown in. So that is it for this month's paper pumpkin. I am going to spend my afternoon finishing making these cards, so I've got all my Valentines ready to go, because it's not too long before we want to be mailing them as well. So get those all going, and you guys have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. I will be live on Wednesday with another Facebook Live featuring some of our celebration products. In the meantime, if you want to get in touch with me about our celebration join deal right now, I've got information about that for you. If you want to know more about earning free celebration products, let me know. And if you wanted to order any of the paper pumpkin, get that prepaid paper pumpkin subscription and those add-on dies and stuff like that, let me know. So much going on. Celebration runs till February 28th. So make sure you don't miss out on earning some of those great freebies. All right. Take care, everyone.